The legend of the Chupacabra has held a strange grip on the imagination of people across the globe for decades. Its origins are cloaked in mystery, with conflicting accounts and no definitive evidence to prove its existence. But the stories persist. Whether it is a creature born from the nightmares of a troubled society, an ancient myth brought to life by the fear of the unknown, or simply an elaborate hoax, the Chupacabra continues to stir a sense of fascination and terror in equal measure. The tale of the goatsucker began in the late 20th century, but its roots stretch back further in folklore, blending indigenous beliefs, colonial fears, and the perennial human urge to explain the unexplainable. The first widely publicized Chupacabra encounter occurred in 1995 in Puerto Rico. The island was rocked by a series of unusual deaths among livestock, particularly goats and chickens, which were found drained of blood, with no signs of struggle. Farmers were bewildered and terrified. It wasn't the work of coyotes or other wild animals, they insisted. The creatures they had seen were too strange, too frightening to be the work of ordinary predators. Eyewitnesses began to describe a reptilian, otherworldly being scaly, with spines along its back, glowing red eyes, and fangs that could pierce the skin of its prey with unnatural precision. Within weeks, reports of similar attacks began to emerge from neighboring islands and mainland Latin America, with each account adding more details to the creature's growing legend. As the stories of the Chupacabra spread, so did the speculation about its origins. Some believed it was an extraterrestrial creature, a being from another planet sent to Earth with an insidious purpose. Others suggested it was the result of an experiment gone wrong, a mutation or hybrid bred in the laboratory of some shadowy government organization. Still, others held that the creature was a product of ancient magic, a curse or spirit released from forgotten times. As varied as the theories were, they shared a common thread. The Chupacabra was a terrifying, blood-sucking entity that embodied the deepest fears of those who encountered it. The media quickly seized upon the story, feeding the public's growing sense of unease. In a world where the supernatural and the science fiction were becoming increasingly intertwined, the Chupacabra became a cultural phenomenon, a modern legend that seemed to be right out of a horror film. People started seeing signs of the creature everywhere. Photographs surfaced, some blurry and grainy, purporting to show the creature lurking in the shadows or attacking its prey. Eyewitness accounts became more elaborate, with descriptions of its eerie, red eyes and its predatory behavior. There was talk of people being stalked by the creature, of entire villages being emptied in fear of the beast. Despite the frenzy, scientists remained skeptical. While some took the report seriously, most dismissed the Chupacabra as a product of mass hysteria or misidentification. Biologists, in particular, were quick to offer alternative explanations. They pointed out that the most common symptoms of livestock deaths, blood loss, puncture wounds, could be explained by the actions of wild animals such as dogs, coyotes, or even large birds of prey. These predators were known to attack livestock and drain blood in a manner that could be misconstrued as the work of a supernatural being. There was also the possibility that the creatures responsible for these killings were suffering from mange, a parasitic disease that causes hair loss and a grotesque, zombie-like appearance. In this view, the Chupacabra was not a reptilian monster from the depths of space, but simply a diseased, starving animal with a penchant for blood. This scientific explanation didn't deter the believers, though. The Chupacabra, for many, had become something more than just a monster. It was a symbol of something darker, an embodiment of fear itself. Over time, the creature's legend began to evolve. The Chupacabra was no longer just a strange animal. It was a manifestation of the anxieties of the times. It represented the fears of communities in rural areas, struggling with poverty, crime, and the uncertainty of life. The Chupacabra became a convenient scapegoat, a way of explaining the unexplained, a creature that could be blamed for the hardships and suffering of the people. As the Chupacabra's legend spread across the Americas, it began to take on different forms depending on the cultural context. In Mexico and Central America, the creature was often depicted as a demonic figure, a shape-shifting monster that could take on the guise of a human or animal. It was believed to be a spirit, a creature from folklore that had been summoned by dark magic or ancient curses. In the southern United States, however, the creature's appearance seemed to change. It was less reptilian and more dog-like, often resembling a mangy coyote or wolf. The difference in these descriptions led some to believe that the Chupacabra might be a regional variant, a creature that adapted to its environment in order to survive. Still, the central element of the Chupacabra legend remained unchanged. It was a creature that drained the blood of its victims in a chilling and unnatural way. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, sightings of the Chupacabra began to appear with increasing frequency in the southwestern United States, particularly in Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. Farmers reported finding their livestock dead and bloodless, and the stories of strange, hairless animals began to spread. These creatures, often described as having a gaunt, skeletal frame and an otherworldly appearance, were linked to the Chupacabra sightings. But these creatures, it was soon revealed, were not the blood-sucking monsters of myth. Instead, they were coyotes, dogs, or raccoons infected with mange. Mange, a parasitic condition caused by mites, causes animals to lose their fur, resulting in a gaunt, frightening appearance. These animals, weakened by disease, were often found wandering in rural areas, where they could be blamed for livestock deaths. Despite the revelation that mange-infected animals were likely responsible for many of the Chupacabra sightings, the myth continued to thrive. The Chupacabra had become more than just a creature. It was a symbol of something far deeper, a reflection of human fear, imagination, and the unknown. Whether real or imagined, the Chupacabra continued to capture the public's imagination, fueling conspiracy theories and media reports. The idea that a monstrous creature could exist, hiding in the shadows, waiting to strike, was enough to keep people intrigued. One of the most enduring aspects of the Chupacabra legend is its ability to adapt and evolve. As new stories emerged, the creature took on new characteristics. In some versions of the legend, the Chupacabra is an alien, a creature from another world sent to Earth to harvest blood. In others, it is a creature of the night, a vampire-like being that preys upon the weak and vulnerable. Still, in other versions, the Chupacabra is not a solitary predator, but a pack animal, a creature that hunts in groups, stalking its prey from the shadows. Each iteration of the Chupacabra legend serves to add to its mystique, ensuring that it remains a captivating figure in modern folklore. The Chupacabra is also a reminder of how myths are born and how they can evolve over time. The legend has taken on a life of its own, constantly shifting to fit the fears and anxieties of the societies that tell its story. It taps into our deep-seated fears of the unknown, of creatures that lurk in the dark, of forces beyond our control. It speaks to our primal need to explain the inexplicable, to give form to our fears. Whether the Chupacabra is real or not is almost beside the point. What matters is that it continues to captivate the imagination and fuel the fires of myth, a creature whose existence is as much a reflection of our collective fears as it is a reflection of our need to understand the world around us. The truth, perhaps, is that the Chupacabra exists not as a physical being, but as a living myth, a creature of the imagination that continues to haunt our cultural consciousness. Whether seen as a monster, a metaphor, or a manifestation of societal anxiety, the Chupacabra is a reminder of the power of storytelling and the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding. It is a creature born from fear, but it is also a creature that transcends fear, one that continues to intrigue and haunt, no matter how much time passes or how many explanations are offered. And so, the question remains, is the Chupacabra real? Perhaps the answer is irrelevant. What matters is that the legend endures, evolving with each retelling, adapting to the times, and keeping alive the mystery of the unknown. Whether a monster or a myth, the Chupacabra remains a symbol of the human fascination with the strange and the unexplained, a story that continues to captivate and inspire. Don't miss the ride into the unknown. Hit subscribe and join us for more spine-chilling stories that will leave you questioning reality.